There we go. Okay. All right. Let's get going. I think we're sharing.
Well,
We're not quite sharing.
you're recording.
Uh-oh. All right.
There you go. The rest it was good. So share, we have to hit this, and then sorry, it's baited. Yeah, we have to hit this, and now we'll share everything,
There we go.
and we'll minimize that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much for coming out. I greatly appreciate your time more than anything. You guys welcome. Come on and find your age group if you can. Freddie, what are you, 11s or 10s this year? 11 boys. 11 boys sections right in there. The importance of you connecting with people within your age group is huge, especially as we're going in with our open door policy and looking at the excitement that we're having and the emails that we're getting already, which is tremendous. It's so important that you connect with them. What I want you to think about with your age group, even at this point, the earlier we can do it, the better, is setting your training schedule up that the kids can train on different nights. So think about that with your group. We've got obviously 6 or 7 months, and I heard it's not going to snow this winter. But we've got that time to prepare. So, but the idea is that every player and every team should have multiple opportunities to train. So think about how we set that up. Every player should have the opportunity to train with the team they want to make. Okay, so we want to bring our age groups together. We want the kids in the program to see an age group rather than a bunch of teams. We're a club, so they should have the comfort of going wherever the badge is, and you, the coach, we do whatever we can. So the summer stuff starts here really, because we need to, instead of organizing just for my team, I'm taking into consideration that, for example, our U9 boys and girls, we should be able to have a practice on every night of the week for a U9 age group team. And the kids should be able to see that and do that and go there. So parent coaches, where are you? Where's our parent coaches? Absolute huge thank you to our parent coaches. Actually, before I go there, I want to thank Katie. Where's Katie? So huge thank you to Katie. I annoy Katie at the best of times. And anytime that you see anything from me that looks remotely professional, it's Katie. So this, the setup, the organization, the being able to have a springboard for stuff. There's things like this that this is what Katie is absolutely phenomenal at. So I really appreciate you on that. Parent coaches, huge thank you for what you do. You do two things really. There's kids that wouldn't play in the program because of the connections that you make with them. So many wouldn't play. You're a little bit closer than the paid coaches because they're kids that and also as the parent coach takes the spot of a paid coach, that's money that's saved. That allows us to keep our fees what they are. And looking around, we do keep in touch with other clubs as to what they're charging. We had kids that left us in the fall, sadly, wanted to go for something else. They're playing at the same level with the same winter program for $2,500 more than they'd charge if they was with us. So we are about creating an opportunity for all to play, and we couldn't do it without our parent coaches. So absolutely huge thank you to our parent coaches. Paid coaches, returning coaches. Best part about my job is to see, I still can't believe at times that I get paid to do this, but I see these guys that come in as players and now they're coaches, and having gone through the program, seeing the same faces return as paid coaches and parent coaches. We give the kids 3 C's. And those 3 C's, we give them care, we give them connection, and we give them consistency. And that's part of them playing the sport. We can get lost in elite tournaments and college showcases and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, we want a base. We want these kids to play it after they've been through us. And those 3 C's that you guys are a part of allow that. And every year we add more returning coaches that have played in the pro. It is fantastic. Our adult league just provides us with great things to do. But to see you guys rolling back in is absolutely excellent. And same faces, and another years, the kids we're in a really good place in this club. So thank you, thank you. This year's we're going to make some additions to our program in staff, in content, and in requirements. And with this structure, I hope to raise our level of coaching and really push it. In previous years, if you needed me or you needed any club staff, you'd call, we'd cover your session and you'd make sure it's still on. We'd drop in and do an evaluation every now and again. But I wanted to tie it in with our very own club structure to help improve us. It's unique to CC United. And I'm really excited to roll it out now that we've got all the pieces with the staff in there. But we couldn't have been in this position to roll this out without you guys. And I couldn't do my job without you guys. So I appreciate you more than absolutely anything. It is wonderful to be in a room with you guys. So on to the meeting. All right. Let's see. So there's an overview. Good picture, Todd's team there. Love that, Todd. Great picture. Great picture. They're actually hiding from the parents, I think. Want to use that picture, just a quick chat about that picture. There's something Todd's team's done over the years that make that structure happen. Todd was a board member, and one of the things that he did was go through expectations. And the expectations of his team, he did so many different things that brought his team together outside of soccer, the experience that they get used to each other, that they get connected with the group. Give us a list, Todd.
Oh, geez. We're talking about like the community stuff?
Absolutely.
Let's see. We were bell ringers for the Salvation Army. Like everyone else, we did the Feed My Starving Children. We did something in a nursing home one year. Something with Humane Society. I mean, there's a lot of things, so pop soccer, they always got a kick out of. I think that's where they saw the biggest value, just doing that. But I think a lot of teams do that. But just anything I try to do something unique with each team outside of the sport itself.
Any surprises this year?
Any surprises?
Any new ones that we can steal off you and do?
Team meeting. I don't know. We give me that long leash. We always do something. Yeah, we want to give the control a little bit to the kids to kind of to drive this a little bit. With them being 16, 17-year-olds now, we want them to bring the ideas to the surface and that kind of stuff. So TBD.
Yeah. John, your team did it a few years ago. Let us.
Yeah, we did. We got the kids together and they can all write letters to active service members. And so you get them together, there's a little video instruction, and have a little pizza party, and then they all spend time writing up the letters or whatever.
So that's what this club is about. It's you know what, we're going to improve you at soccer, but we want our kids connected with the group. We want them doing stuff together. When we get to your team and your thing, think about somebody as a parent that's your social coordinator that can get the kids to do all these kind of exercises and activities and things like that. We will, and looking at the levels of play that our teams achieve, and I say achieve, not give, because in the TCSL, I can virtually put teams wherever I want to, but we don't. We allow our teams to earn their way. So what you see on a league status is what's earned within the age group. So it's nice to say that we earn all our levels of play. What we get is what we get. We compete at the highest levels. We're competitive right through the league, and it's our kids coming together. So just think about what I want you to take away today is just little ideas as to what you could do with your team just to bring them together on there. Coaching staff, I got Paul's picture from the Carver County Jail this morning. Just don't tell him. We have along with myself and Katie that have been here for, how long you been here now? 50 years. We have Sophie, Nate, and Mike that we are adding into our program. I'm going to throw you on the spot. Sophie, tell us a bit about CC United and you and your role in the club.
I just wrapped up their last year and being able to step into a bigger role in the club, helping out with that younger age group, and then also kind of taking on the progressive technical training in the winter, as well as a new program, next level training for those older kids, U15 to U17. So.
Nate.
Same as Sophie. I grew up playing for CC United. Started coaching when I was in high school. Yeah, working with the U9 boys is really fun. It's good to see them really grow and develop a lot at that age group, more so than a calendar year than you see in a lot of other age groups. So,
Mike.
We did not grow up playing in the club.
It's not going to last long.
I started as a parent coach when my oldest, who's now 24, was a 6-year-old. So I've been doing it quite a long time, coached every level of team, both boys and girls, and was a board member for quite a long time, suffered through that. And just been coaching for a long time in the club, and it's been great. So
I've also created this year, so if you look on that side, cover coach list. So this will get published as well. If you're ever missing a session, these guys have spent time in the program for a while. We'll be adding more to that too, of people that are available that can come on in. And, you know, if you need a different voice, if you can't make sessions, if you just want someone to, you know, come on in and take a session, then that's all what that group is. So building that out of our program, and very exciting position to see that there's still more to add to that. So that's really good. Sophie, you're up.
So yeah, U10 to U14, that progressive technical training was something that we offered last year. I'm excited because it's going to be like a similar setup with that practice play format that US Soccer provides. So kids will come in, we'll get them going right away. Each week we'll focus on a different technical skill, whether it's dribbling, 1v1 moves, passing, defending, some finishing as well. So they'll focus on that for that middle block. And then at the end, they're doing some sort of small-sided game that focuses on that. For the U15 to U17, the whole goal with that is just to have older kids some space to provide and continue to work on those technical skills. So it will follow a similar format in working on a different skill each week, just higher level drills with a little higher reps as well. But instead of starting with that practice play format, they will be starting with some sort of speed and agility game to kind of work on that athleticism. The hope is that they're in groups that push them, but they're also confident enough to progress. And then week 5 will be a mini tournament just for them to get playing with different kids and continue that confidence and growing those skills, as well as week 10 with that as well. So, no.
Katie, adult league and women's pickup.
Yes, adult league starts in about a month, actually. So this is the first year that we've been able to kind of require 3 female players on the field at a time. So we've grown the, I guess the female contingency in the program over the years, and we finally have enough to say, hey, it's going to be about half and half. So I'm really excited about that. You can save $20 right now for early bird, but if you miss that, which I think is in a week, just you can use the code CCU coach 25 to save $20. So we do ask that you sign up early so that we can plan, but it's a lot of fun. As far as women's pickup, Thursdays in November, December at least. Space looks a little tight in January, but Thursdays 8 to 9. We invite all women to come play pickup with us, Field C at 8 o'clock. It's a ton of fun. All skills are welcome. It's, all ages, and it's meant for fun, and it's meant to kind of drive the women's league in the summer, which we did win the Division 3.
Yeah. Okay.
See what happened, but, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So looking at our other program, we do United in Development. We have a rec league, and the idea is making you guys all aware of these things because you push them. Our training is set up that our certain age groups train less because we want them to multi-sport. But if you've got those kids that want more training, then we want to have that available as an option. But space is filling, right, for that young'uns group. So it is, yeah. With all of this stuff, the summer camps this year, what was nice was how we bring groups together. The summer camps went from, we had 7-year-olds through 14-year-olds, and they all had countries and they all came together. And it was so nice to bring the club all in one spot, different age groups. And that these guys made connections that actually took them into competitive, that they were recognizing kids that had been there. And that's what all these events are. So our adult league, great opportunity to come together. If you make Todd's team, make sure you've got an Uber. The after game is just, it's a very strong program that's dedicated to after game activities. So, yeah. They start their preparation in Heartbreakers 2 hours before the game. Yeah. And all I can say is the forward runs they make are very unusual and hard to, I know, that's tremendous. Look at that. But that's what the club's all about. On that team in specific, they brought together parents that were just, and the enjoyment that was had in that group is memorable. That's so far been the most memorable team we've had. Yep, it's competitive, and it's not die hard win at all costs, but it is a chance for us to get together and play, which is great. These are our winter training offerings. Once again, they look a lot different than when I sent them to Katie. So as you can see, our 9 and 10s, they get technical training on Sundays. And that's what they offer. If I don't know what space is like, November, December, Katie, is that if you wanted to sneak an extra somewhere, something. So if you are a cities team or a younger team and you don't have practice space yet, if you want to reach out to Katie, we'll see if we can accommodate and find spots. Yep. So there's everything. Without any questions on our scheduling and stuff like that.
What's the preseason?
The preseason games will be at the Chan Turf, Upper Turf,
Like scrimmage.
the scrimmages, yeah. And everything leads into that. So we're all our planning and everything like that, trying to get you 3 games in there. And usually, yeah.
I have one thought if you're running out of dome space, which is that particularly with the 9s and 10s, it's hard to field a full team in November, December, January for multi-sport athletes. I think there's the opportunity to do for the same level, 2 teams on the same turf at the same time. There's a more flexibility on coaching, and I think you can do a lot more. I struggled with 9s and 10s with all 3 of them to get 6+ kids, and I think you can do it with 12 on that space. If you're trying to condense and find space, I think that's not good.
Okay. Why don't I send something out to 9s and 10s and then see if they can group together if they want
I
anything.
know Griffin's 9.
Okay,
Hey, Jonathan, I have a question.
absolutely.
So, my team's also doing like weight training, speed, agility outside of CC United. If there's ever an opportunity to get like gym space, to do more call it futsal kind of stuff, is that a possibility?
It is, well, Katie, you know the space better than I do.
If you're flexible with your time, there's to do something like that.
On Tuesdays.
If you wanna go 9 to 10, you can do 9 to 10, right?
That is, I don't know. Getting close.
Yeah. But 9s and 10s, so think about you guys on the 9 and 10 section, just connecting, reaching around, having a look to see if somebody else would take, you guys that are cities teams, see if you could grab a few Saturdays. And I believe that we'll just build a team, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So if you do take the time, the team will get the bill for it. So any questions on that? Lovely. Goalkeeper training. When you are, I'm hoping today that you go back and just say hello to your team as far as a reach and say, you know, introduce yourself if you've not coached them before, or just a reminder that you're still around for those guys that you coached before. Goalkeeping, just making sure that your goalkeeper on your team is registered. We have at the moment 97 goalkeepers registered. This is something that is part of their fees. They can go, but we do ask if they have a genuine interest to register, so they can get emails on stuff, and also so that they can confirm their attendance. We have right now, Paul is obviously leading. We have Deja that played at UMD, and then we've got 2 youth coaches that work with them too, but we can add more. Tyler, you're on that list to be added into that too. So we've got, it'd be nice to know, at the moment, we look at 30 kids coming, but when you get with your team, if your goalkeepers have not registered, please get them to go online and register. It doesn't cost them anything, but it just allows us to better prepare for that. Yeah.
That start mid-November.
It starts. Good questions, Brian. So these are the ones that we could pick up, Katie, right? Okay. So if you are that city's team, that might be your option to get your team out.
Although,
Yep. So there's our goalkeeping. And then for our he's hiding. There we go. So this is our technical training divided up. Trying to manage kids. We have broke records with our U9 boys. It's getting crazy. So dividing up our U9 boys. When we do our technical training, coaches, please come along, because it does help if you can help guide the stuff, the technical stuff. We try to get 40 kids in a gym. We do have 3 or 4 club staff that come to help lead, but you guys are more than welcome to be a part of it. Bring your boots, come play in it. You know, you are part of this journey with them too. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we've set this up for. So if you can't make yours, we want to encourage, we want to create an opportunity for the kids, especially at 9 boys that are blue, to go train with the white team. So that's why we've got those standalone groups for that boys U9, boys U10. So there is opportunities. They could train with the 10 group, or so it's lots of opportunities this year. Katie has done phenomenal in separating all of that and giving us. All right. Oh, where did my thing go? There we go. Okay, so goalkeeper training. All right. So this is our new program starting this year. This is our coaching standards program. This is what we are launching on our first. When you get into the dome, we're not going to come straight away and start evaluating. We're not going to come in and jump in. It's not overpowering or anything like that. For the first week or two of your practices, the kids should just play. So when they get in there, just get them going, get them scrimmaging. It's not, it shouldn't be anything too much information. I know that some teams, NPL teams, super NPL teams have got games and stuff, but try and give them that playtime. Try and just have that pickup soccer mentality where they're coming in. But this will be coming in starting this year. Purpose. I want to help you become the best coach that you can. And to do that, we need to set a certain standards of what that coach looks like. How many things are we looking to evaluate? This is not anybody else's program. So I did licensing for US Soccer. This is very different to what they did. This is very different to USSF stuff. This is our own kind of brand at the end of it. I'm looking for your feedback. Did we miss anything? Can we add something? But this is how it works. We are going to look at, in every session, 4 areas to evaluate. And there's our 4 areas. And methods, organization, management, and drive. We're looking to get the best for practice flow. Anyone know what practice flow means? Okay. Hang on, check my notes. Practice flow means that your session starts and finishes with minimal interruptions. Now, that might sound really strange to want to go for, but think about your kids starting a technique here, it connecting with your session and finishing at the end in the game. That we're able to see that it progresses in challenges, it progresses in opponents, it goes from simple to complex, and that your kids are able to jump through. If we want your organization to help your organization, that you're not laying cones out as you go, that you're picking cones up as you go so the kids can move from one to the other. So your coaching organization is a huge part and is just as important as the methods in there, because your organization will allow specific pressure. And we're looking at things like, can you adapt your pressure? If you've got too many kids, if it's too easy, if it's too hard. So these are all the things that we're coming out. We're looking for that flow of, does your session just move right through? Can you go for an hour without a set water break? So you're so organized that you go, kids, get it as you need it. Like I like it with teams that I train, get water as you need it, and we won't stop. So the kids come in for an hour, they train for an hour, and they go. Because think about our dome sessions. By the time they come in, put their boots on, start playing, you probably get 50 minutes. We want you to get an hour. So how can you have that in there? Can we get more out of your coaching sessions? And this is something that eventually what I'd like this to go to is that you're finishing your practice and you get an evaluation form and just go stand next to the person next to them and have a look at theirs and write some things down on theirs. And we work together on this. I want people to come to my session and tell me, which one of these do I miss? Which one would you do differently? This is a together thing, that it's open. We're going to set a tone for it, but then it's collective in, hey, you know what? I noticed that your area was too small on that last one, that we can take honest feedback from CC United coaches that will help organize and help run a smoother practice. This is a big part of it. Your methods, your coaching styles. Many years ago when I first started, one of the kids came up to me at a game and said, you're covering for us. I said, yep. And I was at the game and they came off at halftime and they said, you wouldn't mind threatening us. So what do you mean threatening? This was a 15 girls team. Well, I'd like you to threaten us. Like, how, in what way? And well, the coach threatens us and we're scared of him. And if we don't work harder, then we're doing fitness and he has us running up and down hills. So can you threaten us at half time? I'm not threatening you. Bloody hell. So, yeah, I know. So they were in that command style of coaching that this dad, and he was a really good coach, but he coached with an iron fist and they needed that, the kids needed that fear factor. But I want you to think about, can you make it that accountable? We added the captains. earn the captain's armband. We have playing time. You have the right as a competitive coach to not play players that don't work hard in practice. We want the kids that are the hardest workers, not necessarily the best players. Because remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Eddie Howe. Okay. But different styles of coaching, you know, these are all that I want you to see if you can delve into. It might be that you put your kids in an environment and they fail, and then you bring them all in together and you have an explanation. So however you get there. Now, the difference between this and US soccer, as Mike will tell you, US soccer, if you don't do it their way, they don't like you. But if you can do it and get the message across to your kids, it doesn't matter how you do it. We obviously don't want you threatening them, but and the girls lost 5-1 anyway because I didn't threaten them and that was my fault. But hey, but thinking about as your sessions go, the old method was stop, stand still, freeze. Everybody watch me and I'll correct it. That's gone away now. We still need that at times, but not in a technical session. Can we progress a technical session? Can I go, everybody look at Paige. Paige has got her passing technique down. You'll have it back, don't worry.
Use your other foot.
But by highlighting one of the kids that does it well, all of a sudden I've made Paige feel important and everybody wants to be Paige. And now they're all working hard to be the demonstrator. So using these things, asking questions, guided discovery. Okay, you've got the ball here. What's your choices? Who's open? Where? And guiding the kids towards it. But I want you to think and have an understanding of these different ways to get down what you need. Now, it's a balance. You are the coach. You are the leader of the group as far as what goes on and what you play and what you train on. So you've got to have some command about you. There's got to be part of it that you are telling this is what's happening, but a balance with that guided discovery, a balance with that feedback, Q&As and stuff like that. Engagement, voice. What is it like to be a player in your session? Are the kids okay to try something and fail? And this year, what we're going to make a big push on is our coaches all getting lots and lots of coaches gear. So we are going to. And for those guys at the U9 through 11 tryout or U9 through U12, I apologize. I didn't pick it up. You looked across at our staff and we've got different stuff on and different CC United stuff on, and we've got different organizational stuff on. And there wasn't the unity at tryouts and it was freezing cold. Paige was under a blanket evaluating from there.
Cold.
But it was getting our coaches that we all look the same. So that is going to sweep through the club. Is our branding is going to really go through the roof. And one of the new hires of the club, Andy Woodcock, is the club executive director. So he's pushing all these kind of things to make the club a little bit more organized on that side. Your phases. So when you go into your training session, you should have 4 phases of simple to complex, small group to large group. And the big area that I want you to think about, and this is where you might not think it's important, is that if you're doing passing, we seem to get lots of repetition in the first phase. But what the big question is, when we progress, do you still get repetition in the second phase? Do you have, if you're doing passing and you've got 16 kids and you put 8 over here and 8 over here and you play possession, the chances that these kids get to pass is limited. So looking at your numbers, can you adapt to get everybody involved? So these are all the things that we are looking for. And the final game is the big one. Can you hit your topic in the final game? Can you tell us what you're working on in that final game? Mike, we're going to get one of you smiling by the end of the season. You've got that evil Flash Gordon look for one of them. That's right. And just to show, we need some club attire, so if we're gonna do it again. So this is how it'll work. One of our age group coordinators, coaches will reach out and say, I'm coming to your session. You'll meet them 5-10 minutes before, go over the session, sessions evaluated, feedbacks provided. If you are struggling with some of the standards, that coach will come back and help you get to where we need to get, because we need to get to a certain standard. We are going to hold the coach accountable to it. We want to make you the best possible coach that we can help you guide towards. Okay, if you have any trouble with any of it, please just let me know on that one. So some things to consider. If you are coaching a technical session, do you understand the technique? Do you recognize and praise the appropriate technique? And all the others in there. Technical coaching points. There's a cheat sheet on here. Who can tell me the coaching points of passing? Anybody? Absolutely. Okay. So in here, there's a technical cheat sheet of all the techniques, and also so on all the techniques that incorporate them into your session to make sure that we've got that all there. Goals and objectives, the 13s are being updated, so they'll be added. But some of your coaching tools you'll be needed to, can you adapt based on success and failure? And then can you communicate that to the parents? So part of your feedback, I'd like it to be that what are you communicating that you worked on? It doesn't have to be a book, but can you let the parents know we worked on this? So let's see. Additional points to consider for our older kids. So for our 9s and 10s, this is fine. 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s as a base to coach technical training. This is great. But then when we get into it, coaching functional and phase play, and that's what we're going to do when we get to coach training next week and we do an hour. We're going to set up a technical training session and a phase play and just show the differences of how to coach in each one. But can you coach in a phase play? Can you put your formation out? And can you coach your topic? Only your topic. How does it look? How do you instruct? How do you guide the players? And we're going to come back on game day. So everybody gets a game day time. And we're looking at this is now what I'd like to change. One huge CC United behavior that I would love to add in every single one. When it's game day, give the lineup before the warm up. Okay. So that when they get there, when the kids first get there, you sit them down and you read the lineup, you put it out in cones, and then do your warm up. If there's any kid that's not looking like they're engaged in the warm up, we'll change our places. If there's any kids that are, if there's somebody in there that's not up for it, if there's somebody in there that's excelling, you can change your warm up. Or sorry, change your lineup. But the kids know who starts before the game, because here's what most warm-ups do. The kids come, they do the 11 plus, then they come in and sit down. Then they start doing possession, then the referee calls them in, they stand still. Then they come in and we do a quick pre-game team talk, then they go out. Your challenge is that we start here with, here's the warm-up, here's our lineup, then the warm-up, and the only break we have is the referee checking us in. And we can even get home field advantage. I'm pretty sure, Brian, we can make our referees check us in at certain times. But looking for that. So I'd like you to think that your game day, remember, lineups before warm-ups. And then the big thing, the questions to consider is referees. How do we communicate with opposing coaches, referees? I don't think we had any major ones this past year, but how do you talk to referees? How do you question if the referee's losing, makes a couple of bad calls? How do you hold your players accountable to it? and all things like that. And we did have one last year where the referee had an absolute shocker. They were really struggling. It was too much. The game was getting really physical, and we lost the game. The coach at the end of the game waited for the game to finish, brought the parents over, and told the parents that this game was lost because of them, not because of the referee. That there's things we needed to work on. We didn't pass the ball well. We didn't move to support, and we didn't take our chances. And he said, if anyone gets into the car and mentions the referee, we can't practice on what the referee did, but we can only practice and hold ourselves accountable to us. And he delivered that message to the parents, that everybody went home. The parents thought that they were in trouble. It was quite funny. I'm so sorry. But he also did that speech of referee conduct from the other side. So take advantage of it. We all say it, but there is a moment you're going to be tested on it. And everybody gets tested at one point. Learn from it. Our referees, they only react to English swear words, I heard. So game day for your pregame. Once again, line up before warm up. Your practice topics. What have you trained on? And then when we get a little bit deeper into our game analysis, it becomes about what does the other team look like? What's their system of play? And can we correct? Do we need to correct anything? But it is all based on the opponent and what the games are bringing us. So these are all things that we're going to ask when it comes to your game is to, what do you recognize about the other team? Our coach training dates, one next week. Excited to get into the dome. Curriculum for the winter. I am piecing together certain teams that we're going to do them an individual training plan for the winter. That we've seen enough of them play that we can actually break it up. I will be reaching out to more people, you're on that list, of a specific winter training plan that we can take bits of the curriculum and we can hit the same thing for a lot of people several times. For everybody else, it's broken up into 3 groups, technical, tactical, and functional. For our 9s and 10s, you'll see how we're going to play, see how we need to do things, but that you won't have enough time in the dome or inside to do all of it, so it carries on outside. And then after it gets outside, it's session maintenance. Let's see. So we have things like core sessions that for our cities team, if you're a cities team, you've got to make sure you've got your core sessions down, which are the important ones. Everything is based on our goals and objectives. So you look at our 9s and 10s, we don't do defending until we get outside. Everything we do in the winter is with a ball. There's nothing without a ball. Everything is to improve their ability with the ball. And I'll be sending sessions, and I'm not looking at cloning you, and it's not a you must do this. I'm looking for you to hit a topic, and I'll send you ideas on that topic. So if I say, I'd really like you to work on receiving, and I send you the session, if you take parts of it, all of it, some of it, none of it, as long as you hit a receiving session and it's relevant, that's great. There'll be receiving at the coach training so you can see. And what I want you to do is just to piece together your own little coaching style based on all these things available. 11 and 12 curriculum. The core sessions are highlighted. So playing under pressure, playing out the back, zonal defending are all things that it needs to be done. Zonal defending at the end, but then getting in lots of repetition with the other things. We are a club that prides ourselves often too much at playing out from the back. We have been quoted as the club that has got the goals the wrong way around. We go backwards better than we go forwards, but that's okay. At 9s, at our younger ages, if our kids are comfortable passing backwards, it opens the game up. I'm watching Veos for 9s through 11, and one stat that I keep for every game is on throw-ins, how many times do we throw it backwards? Why backwards? More space. Can we throw it backwards and then switch it instead of we're throwing it forwards? And a lot of the times, our opponents and us, we don't even prepare for a backwards throw in. So think about the importance of being able to throw the ball backwards. It's very simple, but it sets a tone. So think about your scrimmages in your game, making sure that they understand throwing backwards is a good thing. 13's on up. So going into your team, reaching out to your team. If you wanted to schedule a team meeting, if you wanted the office, you can book the office and they can come in there. If you wanted just the kids, if it's a younger group, you could probably get kids and a parent in there. Deciding your captains, but deciding on your team what makes your captain. So think about that. Jan, what did you do for your captain this year? You've always got good stories.
First captain we chose was based on a list of criteria for captain, and we reviewed that. And each of the kids that wanted to be captain raised their hand and explained how they met those requirements that we needed. Requirements for a captain. That's how we selected the first captain. After the first captain, the first captain's term was up, he would nominate 3 players from the team to be the next captain. And then each successive captain would be chosen by the 3 preceding captains by nomination. And we vote for captain.
Love it. Anyone else got a captain story? Yes, Aaron. Maddie. Oh, you sat together. You sat together, so it's going to start again. I'm sorry. That used to be the same when you played. Love it. Anyone else? What were they? You look like you've got them written down there, Susan. Love it. And they voted on those? Love it. Love it. So captain, the armband is a big deal. I have to say my favorite season out of all of them is the fall season because I see the largest group of kids. When we do age group training, they all come with their captain on it. And every one of these fantastic little people have got like a story. And they're so excited to tell you that they worked the hardest. I stayed back and I picked up all the pennies. You know, I dropped donuts off at the coach's house. It was great. But they're so excited to tell you, and it makes such a good, and if you ask them in front of a large group of people, you can see the lights kicking on of the others and you're influencing their behavior. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's all about influencing behavior. It's not just about cones and coaching. It's about what can you do to make these kids a better version of themselves, the best version of themselves. And the cool thing is you influence so much. When you get with your team, team help. So there are the list of things to help. Kyle, Veo. You always do the Veo bit. Yeah.
You guys know what Veo is. I'll walk you through it, but it's not. It's basically a really sweet soccer camera. So if you have a parent that's out there and they're recording it on their camera, you can tell them thank you, but we've got an even better option. So the club has bought 5 cameras. They're all at the office. They cost a good amount of money, and so we want to use them. You have games May, June, maybe even into July. Our challenge to you is to use these as much as possible. So before I get into the Veo, we have our club resources. Hopefully we all know Playmetrics, that app. If not, we'll go over that. But within Playmetrics, under club resources, we can go right to the Veo instructions and sign up. And there's just literally a link for Sign Up Genius. The 5 cameras are available all the time. And before I get into that, with the Sign Up Genius, there's also an option to check out the CC United office. So that's actually where my team is right now, my U13s, because it's cold out, it's dark. But we're having practices up and games through the end of October. And so tonight the team is going to watch the last game that we had. We brought in some snacks. My assistant coach is leading it. They're going to do a little icebreaker and hang out for 90 minutes. So that's the other benefit of record your game and then use the conference room. Really nice, big 50-some-inch TV with an HDMI cord ready to go. The Wi-Fi password's on the board. Just bring in your laptop, hook it up, watch the game. And it's really fun because the kids can go, hey, you know, Jonathan, you missed that tackle there, huh? And do it in a really positive way. So we have 5 cameras, and it does require a 6-foot tall tripod. The best part as a coach is we're not expecting you to go do this. So we're going to institute volunteer hour requirements, which will be new for the club. In other words, what we want to have happen is we would like you to have a coach, which is us, a manager, and then a Vail person. And you get to knock on their door and say, hey, Kirill's going to say his Vail person, I would like you to check out the camera, for an early game in May, a game in June, and then one in July. Ideally, we're recording 3 games because it allows you the chance to show off all your skills and all of the dome training that you're running the kids through and see the kids progress as they go. And then when this guy gets feedback from the parent of why isn't my kid playing for the U.S. women's national team yet, they can watch the video together, and they do. And it's great. And then the best part about this is too, as coaches, we all have access to it, but I can literally take that URL and I could go to Play Metrics and blast it out to every one of my kids, parents, everyone. So if that could be one of your challenge as my captain is who watched film from the last game. It's very easy to do. I do it with my kids on a Saturday morning. We get together and we eat cereal and we watch, the first half or second half of our last game. And they get to see, when they did great, when they didn't do great. So this is all there. The other really neat thing is that it does, as we were just watching, is it captures and records highlights. In other words, when you say, oh, Sophie scored that amazing goal, that was somewhere in the second half. Let's see if this was us or them. Oh, it doesn't even look like it was a goal. We'll see. Oh. But the neat thing is, so the camera has 2 lenses and it records the whole game at once. And then afterwards, oh, what a banger from the side. We're in disbelief.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I can do that.
We're too busy passing back to the keeper.
Yes. We don't have the live set up. So there are the good and the bad of it. There's all of these extra subscriptions and they all cost money. So we haven't done the live. If there's the demand for it, we can certainly do that. Here, I'll show you one of the goals. This is my camera. I have my own. That's why I got Jonathan into it. But this is the neat thing that you can do too. Oh, I didn't do it with mine. But yes, you can go and immediately select the goal. And then you can even go in there and kind of then send just that as a clip. So we can see.
Last year is you can actually go and add notes and tag each clip. So I would say center back didn't rotate appropriately. The forward made a run in behind, and then when that goes out, they see my notes and every clip and everything happens.
Exactly. Yep. You beat me to it, Mike. So right within this. I'm not logged in as John, it's myself. But yes, you can literally hit the 3 dots and you can tag players, which then sets them up an account, but that's fine. We can have 900 users on this, and then and then they can see the call outs of themselves, which is great. If you have questions about that, you want to get into that level, let me know. We can set up. So in other words, just the accounts that we have, each player can have a viewer version of it too. The video lasts online for a year, and then they take the whole recording away, but they leave any highlights like this that we clip. So your goals will, yes.
Yeah, the year.
So, yep, right here you can hit the download button and get the whole kit. You can either download just the saved clips or the whole kit and caboodle of a game. And then I'll make you all jealous and rush out to get there. So Veo has 2 accounts. So if I set up something with you, so you can ignore this bottom one because it's my camera, but we bought 3 cameras and then there was so much demand, we bought 2 more. And when we bought the 2 more, cameras 4 and 5, we added the cool analytics feature to them. And they also have the player moments. In other words, I can literally click and say, player 14, show me the 22 different times player 14 touches the ball, which is pretty cool. And then we have analytics. So if I hit the little analytics button and I go to the stats, I can see CCU scored 5 goals, Salvo scored 0. We had 7 shots, they had 0, 2 corners to 0, penalties, possession. I can even look at the shot map and see, okay, where's our shots? They're all in the box. And I can look at pass strings, which is one of Jonathan's favorites, and say, wow, we actually had a string of 8 passes in a row. So it's pretty cool. Highly recommend you use it. And I guess my one threat, if you don't use it, if you're the team and you're like, we're the best ever and we need to go play at the NPL level, and you never record a game and he didn't get a chance to see you, you're probably not going to play at the NPL level. But if you're the best ever, or you're in regional and you want to go do that, and he can watch this and you can see, oh, you do pass back to the goalie. Oh, you do pass backwards on a throw in. Oh, you do complete 8 pass strings. It's a heck of a lot easier to justify that move up, if that makes sense. I think that's about it. But like I said, lots of great features. If you have any questions about it while you're using it, before you use it, reach out to me. I'm Kyle Kellner. I'm on the board, president of the club. So you can easily find me on the website, and happy to support it. It's a great tool, and use it often. Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Say one thing when you put the video up. If you put it in the parents' sideline, you can hear everything the parents say. And if you put it in the coach's sideline, you can hear everything the coaches say.
Yeah.
So we've had an instance a couple of years ago where coach was arguing something and we brought the video up and it was right there because it was on our sideline. So, I mean, depends what you want to do.
Yeah, okay.
And this fall, I know there were some people held onto the cameras, like when the tournament happened and there was like a high demand for cameras. And as we signed up for them more, they weren't coming back in time.
Yeah.
We need like some rule for the parent volunteers about if you check out a camera, it has to come back.
Yep.
By the next morning or that night.
Yeah, the rule is that it's supposed to come back the same day.
Yeah, well,
I know.
We would also hand it off to the other kids in tournaments,
Oh, yeah.
other teams.
To that point, the heart it's literally a giant green triangle, and it has like a 60 gig internal hard drive. In other words, if Mike recorded a game in the morning and you're at the same Shakopee Cup and you see Paige, she could record her game in the afternoon. It's not going to hurt anything. And we have high-speed internet at the office. So as soon as they go back to the office, you just turn the camera on, you leave it on, it automatically starts uploading. After about an hour of the AI working its magic, you literally get an email saying your video is ready to watch.
that's available. I'm like, not mine yet.
Yeah. Did you have something?
Oh, the video's good. It got us out of a jam a couple times. I think you were on the email. You know,
Yeah.
you know, so it can not just go back and, you know, cover a game, but if certain clubs have questions with behavior, you could say, no, it didn't really happen, and here's the video.
Yeah.
It's also good too, like my kids, they're clipping in. We're in a college showcase this weekend, and we have a couple coaches coming just from the kids catching their own clips, reaching out, so.
Awesome. Yeah, as the kids get older, it's certainly a tool like that, right? Show up your own highlights and post them.
Just a quick one. So Kyle's on the board. Every president board member leaves their mark. The Veos have come through Kyle and so many things, the tournament. Scott's on the board as well. Mike was on the board. Todd was on the board. Anyone else? Ed was on the board. My goodness. Part of where this club is today is down to our board. A huge thank you to you guys. You guys are phenomenal that you donate so much of your time and then you still come back and do some more with the club on a board role, which is huge. I couldn't appreciate it more. Nines and tens. I just thought of this one. If you're looking for a game day for our nines and tens, Kasim at Wave is looking for some teams for 9 and 10-year-olds. So it's an extra. There's a game opportunity right there if you wanted that. So that'd be a nice scrimmage opportunity. Lovely. All right. So when you get with your teams, think about that person with the VEO, social media, team expectations person, or social coordinator. And then start and think about, you don't have to plan this right now, but it's nice to get with your team, is think about those practice days. And we'll have some more get-togethers where we're just getting together with your age group as to how many teams do you want to make accessible. If you're a standalone team, which Pat, you are, right? Just getting around, making sure that Todd's training session is that they can go train with Todd's team, that they can go train with other teams, that we can open up as many training opportunities for our kids as possible. Looking ahead, our fields for next year, we have added Lake Bridge for our 11s and 12s. If you haven't been there, it's the only field with grass on it. So it is quite nice. If you're driving through towards Waconia, through Victoria, you pass the Dairy Queen, the old Dairy Queen that's closed down now. It's a left turning into an estate. It's a lovely field, nice location, nice little park. We are going to be spending some time and money on our fields. We are, with Andy coming on board on executive role, we're going to get into all the parks and recs, and we've already made plans to do up several of our fields. So no, it used to be Lakes United. Our referees, I got to put this one in because Brian sat so close. So if you're looking, when you're doing your scheduling, eventually try and do it with the mindset to allow your kids to referee and youth coach. We are a program that is looking to develop everything internally. Our referee mentor program is so good. And we have our junior referee program is phenomenal with Keaton and what he does with that there. We are such a self-sustainable group when it comes to referees. Deneen is awesome with them, but it comes through you guys trying to find out how many kids are going to referee on your team and allowing them the opportunity to do that. So, yep, we want to get better. There's a lot to squeeze in and a lot to take on board, but it doesn't help you as a coach. It doesn't do any harm in just knowing these are the guys that referee. Sophia, that's not you, is it? No. Oh, no, that was you with your yellow on there. But remember that our referees they are the yellow ones. They're not Mark Clattenburg. It's, can you help the referees? Can you guide them? It's okay to offer them points of advice. On your first team, one of the things I want you to get, as you see, is a referee connections person. For our 9s through 12 team, I want it to be mandatory that every team has one. This is just a person that meets the referees and provides a contact that they can on both sides of the field. It's just for home games. We're going to roll that out with some more of the volunteer stuff, but it does help with our referee retention if we have people that are there to support the referees. If you've got someone on your team that does referee connections this year, we're going to give them a shirt with referee connections on the back. So it's visual. So that we're going to have a presence there with our program too. Yeah.
Coaches got to make sure you know the rules at each age level, because I know my son, who's 14 at the time, had to go after the game because the coach was getting on what subs, and just make sure you know the rules at your age level. You know, you might coach multiple levels.
Yeah.
But they hear it both from parents and from coaches.
Yep. And I think it's the hardest thing in the world, and I'm uncomfortable doing it when you see the parent that's standing on the sideline of the referee, and they're standing on the parent's side, kids in the middle. It really opens your eyes to we still have a way to go on referee feedback, and you don't notice it as much until your child is in the middle. But just think, but if we go with that perspective that we treat our referees like they're our own kids, what would you want them? Can we get them to learn? There are some cases when they are just out of their depth and it's the wrong environment for them. But if we can nurture them through when they have their worst games, they'll return and they'll return better. But if we pick them off when things are going well, we won't have many. All the other programs that don't have referees keep raising their rates for referees. And a lot of our referees go there, which is nice because they earn more money. But we're at a point where we don't want to raise referee fees because, $1,000 a game is quite enough, I think. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, so, our referees, be kind to them. If you have any feedback on our referees. So I want you to think about this. I found this a few days ago, and this is the pressure of a CC United coach. Is you're under pressure. We talk about our age groups and get them together. You're under pressure to coach the group you're at. You've got to know your place as well. As a cities level coach, if your team either moves up in level of play or some of your players have done well enough to move up, you've done a great job. Your job is to know where you are. We want that. That's why we need that connection within the age group. It is a success when players move up within our teams, within our age groups. We want to share that there. We will, if you're a top level team, we aren't going to be advertising outside of our club to get players to come in. You get what you get, you train them, you give them the experience. And that's why we're under a little bit of pressure, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. It is the best way. It's the most rewarding way. And our trophy cabinet's empty, but we're okay with that. So this is our difference. Our open door policy. I've had a few questions about this already. That's its purpose. For those that don't know what our open door policy is, it means that a player in a CC United program competitive is allowed to train with any team that they are physically able to keep up with, physically, technically. This is why we do it. We want to have an inclusive age group, kids coming to your practice. We want to give the kids additional training. We want to drive that competition and accommodate multi-sports. So these are all the things we want. This year at tryouts, after tryouts were formed, there was about 16 to 20 players that moved before the tryouts even happened because they'd already trained with the team they wanted to go on. And that's huge. That's part of it. So if you're a player that's waiting until tryouts when we can watch you for an hour and a half in this environment, you might not get in, but if you go training with them as many times as you can, you get comfortable with them, you become a part of that group and you start climbing. So the open door is huge to give our kids that. And also I want that competition at practice. The management of it. It should not affect the development of your team. You can say no. It is guest players only. So the process is the families are going to reach out to you and get to be added as guests. You can control how many guest players you want. We don't want you standing there like Todd was with 50 kids on his team. But, that's the way it is. But, I mean, you get to monitor it. So you can choose, okay, this week I know that 16 of my kids are in, and I've got a third. I've got 16 at this practice. I'm going to close the door. I can reach out to the guest players and say, look, we're going to close the door this week, and we're going to start again next week with your invitation. So we want to provide them the opportunity, but it's got so good, the open door, that it's now spilling over, which is fantastic. But can you manage it? If you're also on a team and you want them to train additionally, don't just think up, think across, think down. There's teams all over that would get you touches on the ball. It's not used hardly for kids training up with a cities team or training across with a blue team. That's what it's there for. So there's a lot of coaches, if they want extra touches, we can provide them extra touches. But try and space it out. Try and encourage your kids, if you're a U9 blue team, to train across with the other U9 blue teams, because the margin to go train with that white team is really small. Okay? So monitoring that. It's okay if you look below you and say, hey, there's a cities team below us. Go train with them. We'll connect with them. So it's about you doing a little bit of research and helping your players that these are the teams around you that make sense. Connecting here with your coaches. Okay. We want to provide that thing, but the last thing we need is you to stand there with 40 kids going, help. They must notify you. So, yeah.
Age wise are in the same grade.
Mhm.
They're just.
Yeah.
Like, the same could cross that way as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. But it's getting used more and more, but it's still the primary use for it is kids that want to train upper level. But where we need to get it this year is, do you want to train extra? All right, you can go train over there. Go train with those guys over there. Oh, but they're a year younger. Hey, look, go train, go be involved. Training is training. If you're struggling with any management of the open doors, please reach out. I know I've had a couple of coaches that are like, these parents, they're banging on my door now. They want in and I've got 16 on my roster. What do I do? Okay, your first week, we're not open door. There's going to be 2 weeks, did we say? So you've got 2 weeks with your team for those guys that are starting training now. You've got 2 weeks. If you want to open it earlier, if you think that your team is not good, let me know and we will open your team earlier and you can have players come in and train. That's okay. But you've got the 2 weeks and then it's about managing it. Any more on open door? I've just put this one in. We have a transfer window now. And these are all under our policies. So you'll see the link in there. The rosters are not set. Your kids have made a team, but the rosters are not finalized. So they've got to understand that there still can be movement. If you've got kids that are not turning up, not working hard enough, not strong enough, if they're excelling and you want to recommend them, that's great. And that's the other thing about the open door, sorry, that I missed out is if you're a lower level team, think about recommending those kids to go train. If you've got that kid that, well done, you work so hard, you're doing one in my practice. Are you training with anybody else? Right, I'm going to connect you with the coach because that'll help with that. So when we get to January, our rosters are going to be assessed and we have until March 1st to finalize our rosters. It can happen before then. But after March the 1st, the transfer window is closed. But we want our kids to understand the purpose of training. If they make a higher level team, it's not enough for them just to turn up and go through the motions. They've got to turn up and train like they want to be there. If they are a multi-sport kid, they can go do hockey and basketball and whatever, but they've got to make sure that at some point they're juggling a ball if they want to make a team at a higher level. So we want to hold our kids accountable. So please communicate with the board. Have added some policies on there on the website about the club. You can see our policy for that in full. Please buy yourself a chair. Sit and watch, enjoy. You know. This is what the club is really good at. This is what we excel in more than anything, is that we provide a strong attachment phase with you guys that return, with the care in our coaches, with the location, with the cost, with how we coach. We want to extend it with our coaching standards program and push this a little bit further, but we provide a really good attachment phase. It is important to us that kids feel welcome at our practice, that wherever they see the badge, they are connected with somebody. I go around and take the kids for Phi Ed, and the kids that have the CC United shirt on, it is so nice. They're all connected. They've all got rec shirts on, and competitive stuff. It's all, and they all come together and they're all connected through the badge, which is great. We do it because this is what we want. Also, when you win games, managing results is key. We had one result this year that kind of got away from us, and I went to their game the morning after. It was a tournament game, and they beat someone by 20. And that was a CC United team. I went to the game the next day and apologized to the team we beat. It didn't help that they were a 9-year-old team playing up in a top level of a Lakeville tournament against 11-year-olds. But I mean, even with that, managing the results is important. If you're winning 8, 9, 10, you've got the chance to do lots of other things. Lots of other things. If you're winning by that much, you should be able to keep the ball for long periods of time. We never say to the kids, don't score, but we manage the results, and the parents should know it too. Now, we had one coach that said, well, I can't put these conditions on the kids because they don't do it. You're the coach. If they don't do it, what do? Get out. Yeah, get out. Get out. And I went to our team's game the next day, and we couldn't play out the back. We were beating a team by 8, and we hadn't played out the back once. So we did that in the second half, and the game finished 1-1 in the second half because we asked them to do some things, but we had to yank 2 or 3 of the kids straight away because they wanted to go forward and score. And you're like, no, you can score, but you're going to play backwards first. If we can't get this down in a game that we're winning 9-0, we want to be the strongest team. We don't just want to have the best players. Any questions? Lovely. Thank you very much we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings for a beer if anyone's up for an after party. But thank you very much for all your time. Like I said, the best part of the job is the people that you meet along the way. Even though now they're making me feel old because they're bringing their own kids and they were kids in the program. So now it's really old, but it is the best part in the job, and I couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. I know. Sophie's team. Be a good one. There's not a lot of. Having a meal is about maybe y'all want to tell that Sophie's got like 2 kids that are going to be guests.
The only part I struggle with that is a lot of the time so depending on, you know,
I see you. You got an older team now. You get an older.
Yeah.
Soon you'll have a 12-year-old team in no time.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch.
I started the grassroots
Yeah.
license. I've started.
Okay. Once you've done it and you get your certificate, send it, man. I'll send you a check.
Okay.
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 I'll send you the United in Development dates too.
Okay.
Thanks, Vince.
Well, I think they said in my team, they said we have a limit. Like, I don't think so.
See you, Ben.
Yes. Yes, the other team should get a preference. But yeah, I did limit it that but I almost wanted to limit to say like cameras 1 and 2 are for U9 and 10, cameras 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like
Yeah.
to use 4 and 5 for the analytics for 17 MPLs.
Yep.
Just because they're gonna use it for college clips. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh, hour 36, that's not bad.
Stop recording.